Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm James, and as you can see, Millie is not here. She is still away for work, so it's just going to be me. Today we're going to be locking in our League 1 Week 6 predictions. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Before I start with our predictions, let's take a look at the League 1 Week 5 prediction results from last week. There were only 3 games being played, so a maximum of 15 points at stake here. So Millie got 1 correct result and 2 correct scores, giving her 12 points. And I got 2 correct results, giving me a measly 4, which means Millie is the clear winner. Congratulations to her. Embarrassing on my part. Right, let's get into it. We're going to start off with our 2 12:30 kickoffs. First up we have Mansfield versus Cambridge United. Mansfield's last game was a 1-1 draw against an unbeaten Stockport side, who are sitting nicely in second spot. But this brought County's 100% start to a halt. Mansfield did take the lead from a Hiram Boateng's 22nd minute drilled shot from outside of the box, courtesy of a mistake from the County defence. Mansfield were, however, on the back foot for much of the game, but did well to take the chance when they were given it. They had to soak up a lot of pressure from Stockport and were lucky that their chances were not taken. This was a great point for the Stags. They'll want to get back to winning ways though. They haven't picked up 3 points since the 9th of August when they beat Barnsley 2-1 away. Cambridge haven't won all season so far and are sitting 23rd in the league. Their last outing was a 2-0 defeat to Bristol Rovers 2 weeks ago. Cambridge did have a few chances, particularly from Shane Lavery. Probably the standout chances were late on in the game when Lavery hit the bar in stoppage time and James Brophy also clipping the woodwork. A little too late for the U's to get back into the game. Gary Monk's side need to improve after the international break before more pressure mounts. Millie believes it will be too close to call with both teams giving it a go. Millie's gone for 2-2. Now I believe Mansfield will be the stronger of the two sides, but Cambridge having much of the ball. I think it will be a close and scrappy affair. I am going to go for 1-0 Mansfield. Now we're on to the second and final 12:30 kickoff. Northampton versus Wycombe Wanderers. Now Northampton have had a bit of a mixed start to the season, winning 1, drawing 2 and losing 1. Their last game was a 0-0 draw at home to Burton Albion, a relatively even game with Burton having slightly more of the chances overall, but the Saddlers came close early in the game where they hit the woodwork and again in stoppage time. Between those efforts, nothing really happened, a pretty drab performance. Wycombe have also had a mixed start to their season, winning 1, drawing 1 and losing 2. They have, however, picked up 4 points from decent opponents with a win against Rotherham and a 2-2 draw against Blackpool most recently. Wycombe showed fight against Blackpool and went ahead twice, only to concede the last equaliser with 5 minutes to go after being in the lead for around 6 minutes. A point away from home is decent, but they may feel disappointed with themselves for not being able to hold on to the lead twice and take the 3 points back to Buckinghamshire. Now Millie believes this will be a high scoring fixture, with Wanderers just nicking it. Northampton 2, Wycombe 3. And I get why Millie's put that result. I have to agree with her and say it will be a Wycombe win, but I can't see Northampton scoring that many. So I will say Northampton 1, Wycombe 3. And now, on to the first of 9 3 o'clock fixtures this Saturday. We'll be heading to Bloomfield Road, where Blackpool will take on Exeter. Now, Blackpool will feel a bit disappointed with their 2-2 draw against Wycombe, but there are some good signs that they can take from that result. They showed they had fight to come back from behind twice, and did have more of the chances throughout the game. A point is better than 0. And with the appointment of experienced manager Steve Bruce, which I personally think is a fantastic signing for the Tangerines, there will be a sense of hope and excitement from the fans. Steve Bruce got his first win during the week in the Bristol Street Motors Cup against Crewe, so this surely bodes well and gives the club some confidence coming into the game, let alone the rest of the season. Exeter's last league result was against Bolton with a 2-0 victory at the Tough Sheet Stadium. They were, however, dominated in all areas but did extremely well to manage the game effectively and go away with the spoils. This will be an extremely sweet victory for Gary Caldwell and his side, who lost 7-0 in last season's corresponding fixture. Maybe this will give them the confidence to go on and get the 3 points against Blackpool. You never know. Millie believes that Steve Bruce will suffer his first league defeat as Blackpool manager. She's going to go for Blackpool 1, Exeter 2. I believe it will be a draw. I'm going to say Blackpool 1, Exeter 1. Now, on to Bolton versus Huddersfield. Bolton will be frustrated to come away empty-handed against Exeter after controlling much of the game, but only 3 shots on target from 21 attempts isn't good. That's 2 league losses on the trot for Bolton, both by 2 goals and with more chances and possession. They've got a real tough one against Huddersfield. Speaking of Huddersfield, their last league game saw them lose by 2-1 against Yorkshire rivals Rotherham. That was their first loss of the season after winning all 3 prior to that. They've looked good so far and will want to get back to winning ways and take advantage of a frustrated Bolton side who have the stats on their side but no end product on the pitch at the moment. Millie is going to go for a Huddersfield win. Bolton 0, Huddersfield 2. And I agree with her prediction. I'd be surprised to see if it goes any other way, if I'm being honest. I will also be going for Bolton 0, Huddersfield 2. Moving on to our next fixture, Bristol Rovers versus Wigan Athletic. Now, Bristol Rovers did play on the 7th of September, so no rest for them, and they were defeated by a strong Barnsley side at Oakwell, 2-1. Rovers did have a few chances and capitalised on a defensive error to get their goal, courtesy of Real Sotiriou, if I pronounced that right. They held on till the 65th minute after a close range header regained Barnsley's lead. Overall, Bristol Rovers were outplayed and outmatched. They have another tough test against Wigan, whose last match was against Birmingham City way back on the 31st of August. They also lost 2-1 and to the better side. Thalo Asgard with Wigan's goal gave the Latics some hope of getting a draw, but heartbreak right at the death saw Scott Wright score on his debut for Birmingham in the 91st minute. Wigan are sitting 20th with 4 games played, only 1 win and 3 losses to their name. This could be the perfect opportunity to kickstart their season. Millie thinks this will be too close to call and has gone for Bristol Rovers 1, Wigan Athletic 1. I believe the game will have a winner in it, and I'm going to go for Bristol Rovers 1, Wigan Athletic 2. Next, we have Crawley versus Stockport County. Crawley come into this game smack bang in the middle of the table. 2 wins and 2 losses, losing to Barnsley on the 31st of August 3-0 at home. Crawley had much of the possession but were outplayed by a far better Barnsley side. With only 1 shot on target all game, this is a bit of a worry for Crawley, who started off the season winning their first 2 league games. A dip in form and 2 losses in a row. They won't want it to be 3 losses on the bounce, but against an unbeaten Stockport side sitting 2nd in the league, this will be a tough test. Stockport have had a fantastic start to their League One season, 3 wins and a draw more recently. They are in great form going into this game against Crawley, and we both believe that Stockport will come out on top, and unfortunately it will be 3 losses on the bounce for the Red Devils. Millie has gone for Crawley 0, Stockport County 2, and I have gone for a closer scoreline, Crawley 1, Stockport County 2. Our next game takes us to the Western Home Stadium where Peterborough face Lincoln. Peterborough having a mixed start to their season but losing to 2 very good sides in Huddersfield and Wrexham. There's no shame in that. They have picked up 2 wins against sides you'd expect them to beat in Exeter and Shrewsbury especially, no offence. Their last league match was against Wrexham where they lost 2-0. Although having the overall possession, 70% to Wrexham's 30%, they had no shots on target and were outplayed, but did have some positive chances throughout the game to try and get back into the game. Overall, beaten by the more clinical side, and will feel that they may have a chance to get their 3rd win of the season against Lincoln. Lincoln played Stevenage a fortnight ago and it was a tale of 2 penalties. Lincoln just edged a narrow 1-0 win with Jack Moylan converting from the spot in the 72nd minute. Both sides finishing the game with 10 men. Stevenage, having used all their substitutes, could not replace their injured player, and Lincoln's Paddy O'Connor being sent off in the 100th minute for a 2nd yellow. A good 3 points for the Imps. Can they get another against Peterborough? Millie believes so. It sounds like it'll be a tight one though. Millie's going for Peterborough 0, Lincoln 1. And I think it'll be the complete opposite. I think Peterborough will win convincingly by 3-0. Now we're on to Reading versus Leyton Orient. Reading are doing alright in the league so far this season. 7 points in 4 games isn't too bad. They got a couple of wins under their belt, most recently against Charlton at home. A solid performance against the then unbeaten Addict side before the international break is just what the doctor ordered. Coming into this game against bottom side Leyton Orient, Reading will believe they can get another 3 points and possibly by some margin. But Leyton Orient can play good football and have shown it in recent games prior to their 3-0 loss to fellow strugglers Shrewsbury. Orient had 73% possession in that game, and I think it was the first game this season where they really weren't in it at all. As previously said, they can play some decent football, and it showed in their league games against Charlton, Birmingham and Bolton. You've got a feel for Orient with their run of games for the start of the season. 3 massive sides, and they did hold their own despite losing all of them. Millie's going to go for a home win with Reading beating Leyton Orient 3-0. Now, I think there could be a chance of complacency on Reading's behalf. They may well get a shock here. I'm rooting for the underdog and saying Reading 1, Leyton Orient 2. Now we are moving on to Rotherham versus Burton. Rotherham have had a poor start to the season. Many of us would have expected them to be there or thereabouts after 5 games, but it has only been 5 games and there are still plenty of games left. Rotherham's last outing was against Charlton and ended up drawing after being 1-0 up. Liam Kelly's stunning 58th minute strike. This ended a run of 8 away league games without a goal for Rotherham, but their 669-day wait for an away win still continues, a date running back to November 2022. The game, however, was pretty even, and there were some good signs of things to come from Steve Evans' side. Burton's last game saw them drawing 0-0 to Northampton away 2 weeks ago. They struggled to create any clear-cut chances and were the weaker of the two sides. A few glimpses of quality, but few and far between. A poor performance overall sits them in 19th, still no wins on the board. Millie believes it will be a convincing win for the home side. Rotherham 3, Burton Albion 0. And I have to agree, I can't see Burton getting anything out of this game. I think this is going to be a drumming. Rotherham 4, Burton Albion 0. Now we have Shrewsbury versus Charlton. Shrewsbury have only won 1 game this season with a convincing 3-0 victory at home to winless Leyton Orient. And like Orient, have come up against some big and tough sides. Shrewsbury's last game was a 3-0 defeat to Wrexham, who are first with 13 points after playing 5 games. Outplayed and outmatched by a superior side, they couldn't break Wrexham down and had few real chances. This will be another test for the Shrews, but miracles can happen sometimes. Charlton drew 1-1 with Rotherham last week, going 1-0 down initially to a superb goal before equalising nearly 15 minutes later with an equally superb goal to rescue a point and get a first draw of the season. A relatively even game with both sides having spells of dominance throughout the match, but probably a fair result. However, this will probably not be an even game. Millie has gone for Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 2. I'm thinking with Shrewsbury's record against stronger sides is very much against them. I'll have to say Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 3. Now on to our final Saturday fixture, which is Stevenage versus Barnsley. Stevenage last played on the 31st of August and lost 1-0 to Lincoln. As previously said, this was a game of 2 penalties. Stevenage's Elliot List was brought down to the ground by an Exeter tackle, but the referee was clearly unsighted and didn't get any help from the linesman. Merely 7 minutes later, Lincoln were awarded a penalty. A tackle the referee did see this time, and this was the goal that killed the game for Stevenage. Unlucky, and all clubs do have those days. It was their turn this time. Overall, the better side of the two. They shouldn't dwell on this for too long, but a tough next game. Barnsley are unbeaten in all competitions in their last 4 games. A draw and a win more recently in the league has gained them 3rd spot. A rather convincing 3-0 win against Crawley will give them confidence going into this game against Stevenage. Millie has gone for a convincing win. Stevenage 1, Barnsley 3. And I agree with the result. I can't really see Stevenage doing much in this game. I'm going to go for Stevenage 0, Barnsley 3. And now last but certainly not least is our Monday night game where we see Birmingham facing Wrexham. Kick-off 8 PM UK time. A huge game in League One, and many of our friends from the US will be tuning in to see this. Birmingham are unbeaten in their 4 league games and have shown that they mean business. Transfer records broken, like really broken. On-pitch performances are championship level. They want out of this league as soon as possible, and I don't blame them. Although League One is a fantastic league, they do not belong in that league. They belong in a championship, at least. And likewise for their opponents, Wrexham. Very good transfer business, albeit with less money, but a truly solid side and fantastic performances, which see them sitting at the top of the tree after 5 league games, and well deserved too. This is going to be a real tough one to call. Millie's going to sit on the fence for this one. She's going to go for Birmingham 2, Wrexham 2, so a high scoring game. I think this will be a tight game, maybe too tight, not many goals and maybe not many chances either, but I think there will be a winner in this tie, and I'm going to go for Birmingham 1, Wrexham 0. So that's our Week 6 League 1 predictions locked in. Tell us what you think. Do you agree or disagree with our predictions? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Once again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We are on a mission to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and really appreciate you all for coming along to this journey with us. We'll be back next week for our Week 7 predictions. Until then, have a great weekend, good luck to you all, and see you later.